Hey everyone, Sirturmund here again. I'm sorry that we didn't have a video last night. For some reason, I thought that Riot was going to reveal the last champion, Jack, yesterday instead of today. And that was my plan for yesterday's video, but instead they revealed it today. So to make up for it, you're going to get two videos today. You're going to get this first video, which is going to be all of my reactions to Jack and the past 2 days of card reveals. And then later tonight, you're going to get our usual patch notes breakdown and also 15 decks recommendations. So if you're looking for new decks to try out for tomorrow, make sure you come back to the channel sometime around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time, where we'll have that video come out with some of the new decks to expect. But this video is going to be all about the Jack reaction, and it's what? It's literally 12:02 right now, so this just got revealed and I haven't seen it, so you're going to see my first full-on reaction to it. And let's scroll down, and there we go, 1 minute ago, and this is going to be Jack. Let's get it here, and then let's zoom in a little bit so you can all see. Here we go. Well, I guess we can watch it on YouTube. That's probably better, but at this point I'm kind of stuck on the Twitter, so whatever, let's just watch it on Twitter. Okay, so Jack, so second one of Runeterra's own champions. Nora being the first, Jack now being the second. Champions that you won't find on League of Legends or Wild Rift or anything like that. So let's look and see what Jack brings to the table.
Do I have to kill around here for an invitation, huh?
What's with that accent?
I've come a long way for a fight. Don't think.
That's that accent. I feel like I can't place it. Honestly, I have an accent, but I'm very bad at placing other accents. I can't place this accent, but I feel like it sounds familiar. It sounds familiar. Is this like, I don't know if it's like an Australian or like a kind of like a Scottish, Ireland type of accent. Anyways, I probably just insulted like so many people by saying those countries. So never mind me. So Jack, 4 mana, 4/5. That's a great stat line. Without looking at anything else, 4 mana, 4/5. I think it's a great stat line. Think about it. Set is 5 mana, 4/5, right? He has Brash. So not only does he have a great stat line, but he also has a keyword that allows him to, as it says right here, only block by enemies that have 3 health or more. So he can't get chump blocked by little dudes and little dudettes. And when he strikes, he creates a coin in hand, and his level up is you have spent 12 mana in 1 round. This is really cool. This is really cool. Now, Jack himself seems a little bit boring right now in level 1. All he has is just a big, beefy dude that creates coins in hand. What I think is really cool is that you can kind of see that Jack can actually work with Samira or can work with Set. Obviously, it can work with Set because of the coin generation, allowing Set to be able to cheat out mana and level up quicker. But it can also work with Samira because with Samira, you do want to spend that mana, the 6 mana. I guess Samira is 6 spells. Never mind. So Samira wants to spend 6 spells, not 6 mana. Or 6 cards, not 6 mana. Not 12 mana. But if you're spending 6 cards with Samira, you're probably going to be spending at least 6 mana. And then you have the coin and potentially. So I guess Jack is a little bit more towards Set, more than Samira. But I could see him also being used for Samira. So never mind. Let's see what his level 2 does. Right now, it's just a big, beefy dude, right?
Without breaking a few pounds.
Okay, so you get the coin generation.
Looks like you
There's the Samira that we were talking about.
If only you had something to teach me.
I don't know where that card is, but it's okay. We're not going to stop the video. We'll look at the cards after. We'll look at the cards after and see what the cards do.
All flesh. No.
That's kind of cool. Wait, that was kind of cool. It's a strike. Another. Oh man. 4/1. By the way, this card, the equipment, I think is busted. I think the equipment is actually so busted. We'll discuss it a little bit after.
Who else wants to bet against me, eh?
Who else wants to bet against me, eh? I love the line. Okay, creates the coin.
Looks like someone's got to teach you some manners.
You teach the manners set. I'll teach the fight.
What's the level up?
We're playing by my rules. My little protege.
Okay. Oh, we gotta get it with the coin.
What? Shut up, Jack.
They're gonna cheat out. They're gonna cheat out the big 6 drop.
Yeah.
Where's my level up?
More.
Here we go, bull.
Kill time.
Beat him down. Make him bleed.
Oh, so he just...
Invite.
Wait, pause. He's just a big, gnarly dude. You saw, it's like Renekton. He just grew. I guess it's like Renekton and Nasus, like ascended level 3, where they just become like humongous. That's what Jack just did right there. And he becomes like Pharaoh. Jack, Overwhelm. Okay, Ricorex is going to be happy. Strike, create 2 coins in hand. When you refill mana, grant me +1 for each mana refill. Wow, so there is an Overwhelm that stacks up pretty quickly as you use the coin, right? So let's say that you have coin. By the way, he already creates 2 coins when he attacks. So if you use that coin right away, you're granting, not a gift, you're granting the Jack +2/+2. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. This is an Overwhelm that's going to get really big really quickly. This is why Atrocity got nerfed. This is why Atrocity got nerfed. Now, refill doesn't count at the start of the round, like your regular mana and the mana gems that you get doesn't count. It only works with coin, it works with attune, it works with stuff like formula, right? That refills 3 mana. Obviously, the whole goal here is with coins. Wow, okay. You know, he's simple. He is simple, but he looks fun. So I don't mind the simplicity.
No, because I never heard of you.
Fight
So-
me. I'll take on the lot of you. Anyone bit against
All right.
me? No.
Are they gonna show it activating?
Just
Probably
like
not.
that,
They
we
killed the
showed
enemy
these
Nexus. So here's your cards. Let me see if they're already out in Runeterra AR because they're easy to view here. They're not. They should be out in like a minute though. It's 12:09. They usually come out at 12:10. And there's a card here that we didn't see, and then the other cards here. I'm annoyed at the YouTube sign here at the top. That's why I wanted to go to Runeterra AR. But anyways. Okay, so first impressions of Jack, pretty darn cool. Very simple, very straightforward, but I think it works. I think it works for what this expansion is trying to do, which is kind of like a brawler type expansion, where you have Jack, you have Seth, you have Samira, and you're there, you know, they're all in the ring fighting. I definitely think Jack is going to be working better with Ionia, right, with Seth than other champions. So if you think of Seth plus Jack, this gives Seth the game ender we were talking about. When we were discussing the Seth reveal reaction, I was concerned about how Seth didn't have a way to finish games. Jack with Overwhelm could do that. However, I also don't think that a lot of the coin generation cards from the Seth package are as good as the Bilge-Water coin generation cards. So it might be better off to honestly pair Jack with something else or another region. But I do like Ionia because Ionia still gives you access to deny and other protection spells, which Jack would really like to be able to actually present lethal damage. And the cards are not revealed yet. I tried to stall out there as long as I could, but I didn't. So let's just kind of go here with the cards that we see in the video. So Jack, like we talked about, 4 mana for 5. That goes to 5/6 when he levels up. Spend 12 mana in one round. Now, the level up is difficult, right? The level up is difficult. 12 mana in a single round. You only really spend that either you have naturally 12 mana, you're able to cheat on mana. So Jack, to level up Jack, you do need to stack up those coins. And that's where the coins really come into place. Because otherwise you're going to have a really hard time leveling up Jack anytime before like turn 8, right? Or 9. But with the coins, you could potentially have enough coins in your hand to be able to actually do enough. And obviously we'll discuss some of the other coin cards that were revealed yesterday that kind of help with that game plan. Once it's leveled up, I think Jack's level up is actually super good. It's a big threatening unit with Overwhelm that also cannot be blocked by any unit that have little health. I guess the Brash kind of becomes useless, right? Because the Overwhelm, it doesn't matter if they have little health. The Overwhelm is going to push enough damage. I guess it's fine though. Anyways, it could come into play, right? If the opponent only has cheap blockers, you could potentially get there. Jack's spell is Jack's Risky Venture. It's a 3 mana slow speed spell. I know you can't see it, but it's 3 mana back here. From Bilgewater, slow. You deal 2 to a unit. If this kills the unit, you create 2 cards in hand. 2 coins. 2 coins in heart. I said cards, didn't I? Anyways, that's not bad. That's not bad. Deal 2 is hard to defend. It's forcing the opponent to have to react to defend it. And if they do, you could follow with another thing to get their card down to health for you to be able to kill it. Aside from that, though, the fact that it refunds 2 coins, so it's kind of like a parley. It reminds you of parley, right? You take the chance of parley killing the unit to get the damage to the Nexus to trigger your plunder, while keeping in mind that they might have a way to protect us. So it's kind of like that. I said that this is dealing 2. I like it. I like it. The 2 coins in hand is a really nice way. I don't know if it's going to be good enough to main deck. Maybe you can play like 1 or 2 of and then just rely on having multiple Jack. I don't know. I do like it. It's a good champion spot. I think it's a good champion spot. Synergizes with Jack. Just not sure if it's good enough to main deck. Then we have 5-punch Pablo. Pablo? Oh my god, Riot. They are succumbing to the memes. 5-punch Pablo. 3 mana, 4/1 with a tune. Okay, the health stat line sucks, right? With 1 mana is really bad. But it does have a tune. Does have a tune which can synergize with coin. When on summon, create a fleeting prize fight in hand. A prize fight is a 1 mana spell with fast. An ally and an enemy strike each other. They can't drop below 1 health from the strike. Ha! Interesting. Wait, this is interesting. So obviously when you summon the 5-punch Pablo, he gives you enough mana to be able to play his prize fight right away. The prize fight you get to strike, but neither unit can drop below 1. So you're not removing your opponent's unit, but you could trigger any strike effect, right? Like, let's say, for example, Jack. When you strike, you create a coin in your hand. I don't hate it. I don't like the Pablo stat line, though. I think a 4/1 is a little bit awkward. I mean, the power is amazing, but it's so easily removed with 1 health against almost everything else. So I don't know how I feel about it. And there we go. The cards are here now, so let's move on to Runeterra AR so that they're easier to see here. Let's zoom in so that we're seeing 4 cards at a time. We already talked about the Daring Demolitionist. They just put in the 2 different versions here. Yeah, I don't know. Let's continue with Pablo. I don't know. Oh man, I do love the prize fight, right? Triggering strike effects. I don't know if Pablo is what we want to be able to generate it though. Since we're in Runeterra AR, let's kind of look at the art real quick. Yeah, so we have seen the Jack level up before the level 1, and then the level 2 he grows really big. You have the big shark/well. I don't know which one it is exactly. He's like drugged up. Jack ain't all bad. In fact, if you hear energy spell, might even call him charming, most decent. But once he gets a blow smell in his nose, well, I don't think there's more than just okay. Cool. Okay. I'm kind of sad that he has no Tam Kench callback, right? Because isn't Jack supposed to have made a deal with Tam Kench? Interesting. Okay, so he's just in Ione just fighting. Anyways, the 5-punch Pablo. It's like the cornering Jack kind of preparing him. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Pablo. Prize fight is really good. I just don't like Pablo as a way to generate it. Then we have a 5-mana Angel, and that one actually wasn't in the video, so good thing that Runeterra came clutch. Angel is a 5-mana 6/5, and it just has Brash. So it's kind of like think about it like a 6/5 Fearsome. It's a 6/5 Fearsome playable. I don't know. I like Angel. It's too expensive. I don't know that. I mean, Brash is nice, right? But I think Brash is slightly better than Fearsome, to be honest. But it's not as good as Elusive, right? If this was a 5/6/5 Elusive, this would be like busted. So it's not as good as Elusive. But it's also not as bad as Fearsome. So that might actually allow her to see play. I just think she might be a little bit too slow at 5 mana. But we'll see. We talked about Risky Venture. I really like Risky Venture as a deal 2 with a potential upside, especially in combination with Prize Fight. I was gonna call it fish fight, by the way. In combination with prize fight, we can get something to 1 HP and then go risky venture after it and take that risk that we can potentially kill it. I think that's the goal of prize fight. Oh, it's actually deal 2 to any unit. So you could technically hit your own unit. You could technically kill your own unit. I don't know when that will ever be a good play, but you could technically do that to stack up coins if you wanted to. Just keep that in mind. It's any unit, not just your own, not just enemy. And then we have the last card here that's new. Yeah, everything else is old cards. The last card here that was new with Jack is a 7 mana. The King's Court. Has a tune and has Brash. 7/5. When you summon an ally, create a fleeting prize fighting hand. When an ally survives damage, you grant a Brash. Okay. So it's like the ship, right? I mean, 7 mana is really expensive. 7 mana is really expensive, right? But with 7 mana, every single time you create an ally, you summon an ally, you create a fleeting prize fight with it. And if the ally survives after you do the fish fight, which it will because it can't drop below 1 health, then you're also able to grant a Brash. I don't know how I feel about Brash. Oh man, my problems with this reaction is that I don't know how I feel about Brash. It's a nice evasive keyword. Again, I think it is better than Fearsome. I think it's better than Fearsome. Because the thing about Brash is that you can do prize fight, right? You can prize fight to get something to be below 3 health so that it can no longer block. It's better than power because there's not a lot of ways to reduce power permanently. But health can be reduced permanently, right? Power, usually you can get Fearsome to go through if you have like Harsh Winds or like Troll Shan, reduce the power and push your damage. With Brash, as long as the opponent keeps their unit at 2 or 1 health, your Brash units will be able to go through. And usually health is more permanent, right? So, I like it. I think there's something here with Brash. Kind of like Fearsome with Brash. I think there's a lot of answers. I do think the King's Court might be a little bit too slow, but I kind of like the King's Court better than I like the Pablo. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think I like the King's Court better than I like Pablo, to be honest. Yeah, I think I like the King's Court better than I like Pablo. It's a little bit expensive with 7 mana. But the idea is that you potentially have coin to be able to follow up, use a coin, you get the attune, right? So you get the attune. So let's say that in turn 7, you play the King's Court, you get your mana back from attune, you have a coin that maybe you stacked it to 5 or 6, and then you get to summon a bunch of units follow up because you refilled your spell mana, your unit mana. That's the combination here. So even though it's 7 costs, because you have access to coin, it's pretty nice. And then you're creating prize fight right after. I was going to call it fish fight again. Prize fight right after it to kind of remove the opponent's blockers, allowing your Brash units to get through and push a ton of damage. I think it's a really nice combo. I think there's something here. I like it. Unlike Samira, I think Samira is busted. Jack and his package are strong but feel fair. I think there's a lot of counterplay for Jack here. I think it is going to be a strong package, but not as busted as like Samira. So yeah, that's my initial reactions. Let's look at the other Jack cards that were released in the past day, as well as the variety cards that got revealed the day before. So to continue with the Jack package, we do get a lot more other supports here. The first one is going to be Pocket Picker, which is a 1 mana last breath create a coin in hand. This is probably one of the best coin generation cards that got released and revealed in the game. It's really cool. Just straight up 1 mana, create a coin in hand with your last breath. It's amazing. You can even synergize this with like a risky venture, for example, and get 3 coins in your hand to set up for like a big power play later on. So even if the opponent doesn't kill your own picker, eventually you get to kill it yourself. As a 2/1, it's an amazing blocker and it's getting value after he dies, replacing himself. This card is busted. Not busted. It's really good. I don't see a reason why you don't play this. It might even make its way to other archetypes like Nightfall, where you're able to trigger Nightfall twice, once with the Pocket Picker and then once with the coin. Then we go Mad Old Babs. When you refill mana, grant me +1/+0 for each mana refill. So this is kind of like the Jack. It said that for poor Babs, she doesn't really have Overwhelm or any useful keywords. However, I guess the idea here is that you can combine Babs with the King's Court and be able to give her Brash, because the Brash is going to be permanent if she survives damage. I could see that being an option, right? You go King's Court, then you play Babs, you get the prize fight, use the prize fight to have Babs survive damage, and then you kind of go from there. I do think this card is too slow, though, to make it work. I don't like the Babs unless she had a good keyword. However, what she could do is also combine with the Barnacles, right? These are Barnacles up in the picture. This is an amazing curve, right? You can play Babs on turn 2, Barnacles on turn 3, or you can play Pocket Picker into Barnacles. Either way, I preferred it on the Babs better because she could potentially present more damage, and she also has 4 health to protect herself. This card is the best card revealed with Jack. This equipment is busted. It's a 2 mana 1/1, so you get power, you get health. You get a useful keyword with Brash. Again, especially in the early turns, Brash is going to be really, really good of a keyword. You get a good keyword with Brash already. And then every time you strike, you're also creating a coin in hand. This card is so good. It reminds me a lot of Dark Ages and how much value you could get from Dark Ages because of the +1/+1 and also having tough. A good keyword on a +1 equipment, +1/+1 equipment is really good. I think this card is going to be great, and it's going to be what kind of carries the Jack and potentially even the set package when you combine set with Bilgewater. Really, really great card. Then we have the Knuckle, Mako, and Bull that we saw on the video today, right? So Knuckle is a 2 mana card that has elusive. When a summon, create a fleeting Mako in hand. This card is also pretty good, by the way, because with elusive, you can combine it with the Barnacles to allow your strike to always go through. So you can go Knuckle into Barnacle and have a 3/2 elusive, which is not bad. But the idea with this card is that you can also play it later on in combination with the King's Court to be able to just get a lot of the prize fights in your hand that you can just use to get value. So you play Knuckle for 2 mana, then you play Mako for 4 because you're gonna get a fleeting Mako in your hand when you play Knuckle. And the Mako is Overwhelm. When you summon, you create a fleeting Bull in hand. So now you have an elusive, now you have an Overwhelm, kind of cool. Then the idea is that you use up the coins that you have stacked up so far to then summon the Bull, which has Brash, and when he's summoned, allows you to rally. So as you saw in the video here, it's kind of exactly what the Jack player did here. I was wondering why they didn't just level up the Jack right away. It's because what Riot wanted to do here is to get advantage of the 2/1 attack and the 4/4 attack before they can rally, which makes sense, right? You attack with both, you push damage, then you use the coin, refill your spell mana, get all the way back to 8, you play the Bull, and now your Jack levels up, and you attack with everything one more time. So it's pretty darn sweet here, the value that you can get by the rally with the Bull later on. And as you see there, why did he refill one? What did he get the? Why did the Jack go up to 1? Yeah, why did the Jack go up to 1? The Jack, if you look at the video there, the Jack actually went up to 6. So I think he counted. Am I missing something? Why did the Jack go up to 6? He didn't have any. Okay, whatever. Anyways. But you see the idea. The combo here is that you play this guy, that you play Knuckle, Mako, then you go the coin, and then you go Bull for the rally, and you just have a lot of value here because you have a lot of keywords that are very hard for the opponent to block. Elusive, Overwhelm, Brash, they're all great keywords that the opponent's going to have a very hard time being able to deal with. So that's kind of the Jack package. And again, I'm pretty pleased. I don't think Jack is bad. I don't think he's going to be really good either. Like, I do think he's not going to be as good as like an Aatrox. I don't think he's going to be as good as like Seraphine or Bane. Like, you know, those or those champions that we have learned that were really good, right? Aatrox, Bane, Seraphine, Callista. Not Callista, sorry. Shoot, the Shurima one. Kaisa. Like Kaisa that came out and were like busted. I don't think he's going to be at that level. but I think he's at the level of like Barros, which is really, really good, right? Barros never felt busted, but Barros always was really good as a present. In the level of Gwen, where Gwen never was quote unquote busted herself, but she was always really, really good. That's how I get the feeling of Jack. Jack reminds me a lot of Gwen. You could probably slap Jack in a lot of different decks because of the coin package and just kind of get value. Like it's kind of like Gwen in that regards, right? You have Hollow package. You can do the same thing. You can just play Jack with the Brash and coin package and probably slap it on some decks and get value that way. I think this deck is pretty darn good because if Jack is left unchecked, he will eventually take over the game because of the overwhelm and just the value from coin, giving you a lot of tempo and a lot of value that the opponent's going to have to deal with. So really, really pleased with this champion package. I'm excited to try out Jack after I try Samira. I think I'm going to go Samira, then Jack, then Set. It's going to be my order of trial. Now, to finish up for today's review reaction, let's talk about some of the, I guess, variety cards that got revealed on Saturday that I actually didn't get to speak about yet. Actually, on Sunday. This will reveal on Sunday. The first one is going to be a 2-mana Demacia, form up, burst speed, give an ally +2/+2. So this is kind of like old Sharps. If you all don't remember, Sharpside was also a 2-mana, give an ally +2/+2 for the round. It said that he also allowed you to block elusives. So this is like a weaker version of Sharpside because you don't get to block elusives. Really good card. There's a reason that Sharpside got nerfed to a +1/+2 instead of +2/+2. This is also telling me that Sharpside is probably going to get rotated because why would you have both form up and Sharpside in the game? They kind of do the same thing. Again, Sharpside does have the utility of being able to block elusive, but the Master is going to love this card. The Master is going to love this card, and I don't see why the Master decks wouldn't be playing this card every single time. I think people forget how brutal it was to deal with a +2/+2 Sharpside. This card is amazing, and we should see it there more often in the game. Then we have another Master card, which is Search Warren. So Search Warren is a 4-mana fast speed spell. An ally with +4 power can capture a unit, or any ally can capture a landmark. So you have the flexibility here. If you have any ally in the field, it can capture a landmark. Or if you want to actually get rid of an opponent's unit, you can just do the +4 power one and capture an opponent's unit. So this is giving more removal to the Demacia. That kind of plays more for the capture package that you already seen in some of the Demacia cards. It's an okay card. I don't think it's going to be crazy. Obviously, the problem with capture is that when the unit that captured the target dies, the capture unit goes back into the field, so you're not permanently removing a unit like a Vengeance. However, being able to temporarily remove a unit and reset some of the stat buffs could potentially come into play, and that's where I can see this card potentially being useful in this type of game style. So yeah, good card, good card. I just don't see a place for it just yet, but it could be like a good 1 or 2 off to kind of surprise opponents in a meta where you need to remove opponents' units from the field as soon as you can. Then you have a 3-mana Freljord card, Troll Bulwark. It's a 3-mana 3/4. I don't take damage from ally spells or skills. So it's kind of cool. Good style line for a 3-drop, right? 3 power, 4 health. Kind of reminds me of all the Badger Bears that we see in the Demacia. The benefit with this guy, it doesn't take damage from ally spells or skills. So the idea is that you can combine it with like the self-damage package, right? So think of like Naxos. Hey, you can even combine it with some of Freljord's own card, right? Your own Avalanche, your own Ice Shard, your own Fracture that deal damage to everything. It won't deal any damage to Bulwark. And Riot confirms that even though it doesn't deal damage to it, Bulwark will still get the effects of stuff like Scargrab. So even though it's not taking damage from it, it still counts as 1 damage, giving this Bulwark tough and giving it +1 every time it takes damage. Because think about it, that's the same way that Scargrab works right now. Even if you have tough, you still take damage and get a +1, even when you do an AoE skill that only does 1 damage. So interesting card. Don't know if it really fits in any Freljord decks that I can think of. That's the only hard time here to like. Freljord does have a lot of good static units. I just don't know they really fit with the Freljord archetype. So I'll be interested to see if anybody can actually make this card playable. So we'll see. Then we have the Frostcoat Cup and the Frostcoat Mother. And the city just together. It's a 2-mana 2/3, which is a great stun line for a 2-drop, by the way. That if you want to go late into the game, you can actually spend 6 mana instead to play it as a Frostguard Mother. So it's going to be a 6 mana 7/5 overall. That's a great card. This is a great card. I think the Frost Coat Cup and the Frost Cup Mother are a really good card. The problem is the same thing that I'm seeing with the Bulwark. I can't think of any deck that actually wants to play this card. I do like the flexibility a lot because it allows you to either be a little bit more defensive early on or just go all in. So the Frost Coat Cup is always going to be useful because if you draw it early, you can choose to play it to prevent some of the aggression from like aggro decks, or if you play it late, you can just go ahead and play the Frost Mother Cup to actually be able to the Frost Mother to actually be able to get value from there. So yeah. So then let's move on to the Shadow Owl card that were revealed as well, and then we have 2 more target. So for Shadow Owls, we get Soul Harvest. Soul Harvest is kill a follower with 3 or less power. It's a 2 mana, by the way, 2 mana. Kill a follower with 3 or less power, or spend 4 mana to kill a champion with 3 or less power. So this is like Calling Strike, right? Calling Strike is a 3 mana Noxus card that can kill any unit with 3 or less power. It said that this costs 1 mana less if you choose to kill a follower, and 1 mana more if you choose to kill a champion. I love this card. I think Calling Strike in Noxus could be a little bit awkward, but in Shadow Owls, where you want to go more control already, this card feels really good. It hits a lot of champions that have 3 or less power, like Seraphine, right? Like Ezreal, like Samira right now, right? Or if you don't have a target that you can kill as a champion, you can just stay use it as a cheaper Calling Strike to kill one of the opponent's followers. This card is great. I could see it being a staple as a 1 or 2 of. It's in a lot of Shadow Owls deck. It reminds me a lot of like of Quietus, I guess, right? With the flexibility that you have. I love this card. I love this card. I think this card is gonna be really good in Shadow Owls. I love to see it play. By the way, we stopped looking at the art, but it's okay. This is kind of cute. Oh my god, look how cute this cup is. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, I love this card. I think this card is great. It's going to see play. Then we have Eradication, which is a 6 mana slow speed spell. Kill all allies, all units with 3 or less power. So it's kind of like a Soul Harvest, but just kills everything. I don't like it. I guess it's with 3 or less, huh? I just don't like. I guess it's really good card to counter like aggro decks, right? If you want to stall out. I don't know. I just think because it's only killing everything with 3 or less power. I don't think I would play this as more than like a one-off to surprise opponents. I think there's better options in Shadow Owls than Eradication. So I'd be surprised. I mean, it's nice that you can play this right away on turn 3, right? If you back your spell mana, if you're going against like Bandu City Swarm, you can do this and just ruin the whole day. I just don't think there's a lot of decks that are gonna go that wide that quickly. Maybe Samira decks are gonna go that wide that quickly, so maybe this is a way to actually deal with Samira decks. But other decks should be able to play around the Eradication from being able to kind of clear the whole board. And then we move on to the last 2 cards from Targan, and the first one is the Cosmic Journaling. 2 mana, 1/4, run star, heal me and your Nexus 1. This card is amazing in Star Spring deck. Honestly, this card is really good. The fact that you're able to heal it and your Nexus +1 allows you to kind of progress that Star Spring value. It's a 2 mana with a 1/4 stat line. It's also a great blocker because think about it. When the opponent attacks into you, you block with the Cosmic Journaling, and then on your turn it gets 1 health, and on the opponent's turn gets another health. It goes back up 2 health compared to what it blocked like, and it also heals your Nexus for 2 in that meantime with no downside. This card is amazing, not only in Star Spring, but also in other deck. It's a really nice way to stall out with Targan and potentially just stop any aggression from being able to kill you, because this is going to be a blocker that's going to be really hard for opponents to remove, and it's also healing your Nexus at the same time. This card is actually amazing. I absolutely love it, and it helps that it's also freaking adorable. And look at Mama back there. It's adorable. So last card is Falling Star. It's a 2 mana. Deal 4 to an enemy that attack this round or its turn. So it's like the Paddle Star, right? It's like the Paddle Star. Right? Am I going crazy? This is literally Paddle Star. Deal 5 to an enemy that attack, or so it's It does 1 less damage than Battlestar, but also costs 1 less. That's huge. I think this is a good card. Honestly, 2 mana, deal 4. It's not bad. I guess, I mean, 2 mana, deal 4. It's not bad, but it does require the opponent to be stunned or the opponent to have attack. I don't hate it. I think it's mid. It's not bad. It's not good. It's a mid card. I could see it. I could see it being useful. I could see a lot of application for this card. I like it. I like it a lot. Don't know what target has to play though, but it could be a good card. Overall, all the cards that we talked about today are all very good in my opinion. Falling Star, Youngling, Soul Harvest is really good. Frostcope I think is really good. Form Up is really good as well. This variety patch had a lot of great cards, and even the ones that I don't think are very good, like Eradication, Search Warrant, Troll Bulwark, and Falling Star could still all be good as well in certain situations. And then, like I said, the Jack package I think is really good. It's really solid. It reminds me a lot of Gwen, a lot of like where it's just a lot of utility everywhere, and Brash could be a really good keyword that the opponent's gonna have to really watch out for. So really enjoying this package, really pleased with this expansion, and I'm super excited to start playing it tomorrow. So yeah, that'd be it for me today. Again, we'll be back later tonight where we're going to do our patch notes breakdown, because we actually haven't gotten the patch notes yet, where we'll get to discuss rotations and any potential changes that I might do. And we'll also give you all 15, I don't have enough hands, 15 deck recommendations for you to try out tomorrow. I want to wait until I see the patch notes and the rotation for us to be able to actually determine that. It's going to be all standard decks because we're going to have a standard season. But you know, we'll also do some eternal decks later on as the patch comes out, as the season starts. But anyways, thank you all for staying with me. If you like this type of content, make sure to like the video below and subscribe to us. We post LOR videos every single day. I'll see you all again tonight. Enjoy your day.